Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 1, Episode 8, Take 1 of Confessions of an Average Golfer by the Lazy Lobbers. I'm SJ.
I'm OP.
SL's on time.
And we are the Lazy Lobbers. SL is on time. Unbelievable.
Well done.
And as we've started the podcast, as we're coming live and direct, I've just been genuinely distracted by some messages into our Instagram DM. So, sneak preview, we think we've landed a big old fish as a special guest. Yeah, if they come on, that's great. If they don't, whatever.
Yeah, it's no biggie. Big guest.
So, SLs, you've been doing the fishing, haven't you, this week?
Yeah. So, internally, my job's sales. So, sales director for Lazy Lobbers, and been fishing. Been on quite a large fishing trip this week. Delighted. I literally can't wait to have her on. I think it'll be really exciting and different, and very different to what we're usually used to. Well, the thing I'm most excited about to have her on, and I'm purposely leaving her name out for the time being.
Now you know it's a her.
Well, I said that before, but I guess the next point I'm going to make would be pretty redundant if it wasn't a her. I'm really interested to see what a girl's perspective of a golf club is like.
I think it's also quite good to have a golf-related guest as well. Not that Fergus didn't do himself justice as a rugby player, but
we should do a debrief because we've not properly spoken since last week.
What
a pleasure!
Yeah, it was good fun.
But just like the
fanboying still.
Yeah, I am. Like, the lad's unreal, isn't he? The lad is unreal.
My genuine diagnosis of the whole thing was this: it's like, look, be good at rugby, that's fine. Be extremely handsome, that's fine. Be a lovely bloke, that's also fine. But don't be all three, you know, because then it's just taking the piss, isn't it?
It's a bit of a joke, isn't it? Like, it's not actually
absolutely
fair.
right.
Yeah,
I wanted him to be a dick. Actually, I really wanted him to be a dick.
Did you actually, to start with, did you think he's got a little bit? Something's a bit wrong with him there, or did you sort of think that was just good chat?
No, to be honest, I couldn't hear most of. I mean, I was blind drunk last week.
Yeah,
I was absolutely trashed. But also, whenever he said his sly comments, I know looking back, it sounds like I can hear it.
Yeah,
but I couldn't hear what he said most of the time, so I didn't really pick up on it. A bit of insight there, but.
He was lovely, though. He was a really, really nice guy. And do you know what? Actually, I must say that in sort of all the raptures of excitement that were going on last week, we forgot to do so many things, actually.
Yeah,
so
I think we did.
Firstly, we forgot to give a huge shout out to our normal drinks sponsor, Berksy Drinks. Mm-hmm. Secondly, we forgot to give a big shout out to our travel sponsor, Golf Holidays Direct. And thirdly, we also didn't really talk about Tiger and his accident.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I was going to say that's quite poor for a golf podcast. I actually thought about that the next day, but I thought, you know what, a lot of things we did miss that day. You probably can't help that we're all a bit starstruck by old George Furbank.
But I mean, that's big, isn't it? Poor old Tiger, the GOAT.
Yeah. I actually really enjoyed. You must have seen Rory McIlroy's response when you got asked about it, because I find, for me, it's the same with a lot of sports, that these press people just push and push and push on things that they think that people want to hear, but actually they're the kind of sportsmen that if they slip up, they're going to get in trouble no matter what. It's the same thing with rugby when, I mean, it's completely off topic, but Owen Farrell getting pushed about the referee, and it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? They almost just get pushed until one of them slips up, and then it's just a bit of a joke, really.
I feel like the Owen Farrell thing I did want to know about. Owen Farrell is fucking bland, isn't he? Like, I'm sorry, but I think he's taken his righteous level to a different level. Like, his righteousness of ownership, and it actually fucks me off.
I don't know. It's a little bit. I'm a little bit on the edge, because I know that, for example, if he says one thing and says, I don't think the referee was great today, he's got fine, he's got match bans. It's just no point. So what's the point in playing to the reporters?
What I have to say, though, whilst you're talking about righteousness, I controversially thought Rory was being very righteous in that response. And I kind of thought, look, yeah, obviously that's important. No one's saying that's not important. But of course they're going to ask, one of the best golfers in the world about the golf game of the greatest golfer of all time, they're not going to go, Rory, are you really happy that Tiger's still alive and that his son's still got a dad? Like, that's never going to be the question, is it? Of course, it's going to be, will he think he'll ever get back on the course again? That's going to divide opinion. Maybe put that on the Instagram. Bet I get a bit slated for that. But honesty, honest journalism.
On another lighter topic, I just saw Rory drive. You know that the Arnold Palmer event at Bay Hill?
Oh, yeah.
He's just driven that water.
No, he hasn't.
Longest drive, longest
340 carry, isn't it, or something?
I was watching Bryson DeChambeau do his warm-up, and obviously he was into like a gale force wind and only dropping like 10 meters short.
Ridiculous.
The other thing also quickly you saying that I enjoyed was I thought all of the players wearing the red and black.
Next level.
Tiger was a real nice touch.
What I didn't like though was it Colin Morikawa didn't, because the sponsor didn't get his red and black clothes to him in time. Yet he got so much flack on social media because he won, and obviously all the photos of him not wearing red and black. And it's just a bit like, seriously, like the trolls just need to get in the bin, don't they?
100%.
No, but also though,
like,
if you're old Colin, like just you can locate a red and black piece of branded kit.
In exactly the right sponsorship that he's been paid for. That's the problem. It's got to be the exact sponsors.
Yeah,
I completely agree with
to be fair, you're right. If he's wearing all the Workday and the other branding on the side, but if it's like you're a professional golfer, can you source a red Nike polo and black Nike trousers?
Mm-hmm. But he might, like, some of them might have in their contracts that they can't do that. You know, like they get sent four outfits, one a day for every day they're there. So, but you're so right about trolling. Like, get a fucking life. Just because he doesn't wear the red and the black trousers doesn't mean he doesn't care. Like, I'm sure the lad is like as devastated as everyone that's playing, whether they're wearing red or black.
I am genuinely worried that when we go back out on the course on the 29th of March, we're going to get trolled.
Yeah.
Why?
So I think we're
just famous now. Oh, you guys are lazy lobbers.
Lads,
I'll tell you right now that
we're pulling in 50 downloads an episode.
Oh, are you the three of the podcast? Are you the really funny thing? Oh, yeah, sorry, not on my backswing.
Do you know the only person that's done that is OP's dad? Big sigh to me.
What? He talked in the backswing?
Yeah, no. When I went to the old clinic the other day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Drop it in.
Yes, it is the clinic you're thinking of.
Our normal 2.5 hour round at the Bedfordshire is going to probably take at least 3 hours. We stopped the autographs at every hole.
Agreed.
Oh, I've loved it.
Loved it. Live, laugh, love golf. So this week, I suppose we've gone for something a little bit different, haven't we? Just to share with everyone. So if you've been following along on our Instagram today, you'll have seen that we put out a little offer to do some kind of darlings from some of the fans. Loads of responses, by the way, loads and loads. So thank you so much to everyone that messaged us. So after George Furbank, we thought the only way is up here. So we've got 3 very special guests. And they're going to join us, and we're going to do a couple of our normal sections of the podcast, but we're going to have some fan input on that as well. So yes, we've got our first guest on the show with us. Hi, love. What's your name and where'd you come from?
I'm Lee Vitesse. I'm from Aberdeen in Scotland.
Amazing. Thanks, Lee. And the first question, the critical question is, what's your handicap, Lee?
At the moment, it's scratch.
No,
I should have got him on.
I used to be good, but now I play off scratch.
Oh my dear, the least lazy lobber ever to grace the show. Actually,
that's ridiculous.
I should say when I last played with this kid, but actually I first met him, and we played a golf course. I was going to say a golf course and try and be quite like subtle, but it was Glen Eagles. So when we played Glen Eagles together, he was 3 under through about 15 holes, and I'd never met him before, and I was about 18 over, and I was just like, oh, this is just so painful. You know, when people are pin seeking, it was like watching a pro play. It was one of the most frustrating rounds of ever. It was shit. It's complete dog shit.
Just for anyone that's...
It was awful. It was awful for him, but he was my partner that day, so
we won.
We came off I had 5 birdies in a row in the back 9, and we came off like the 15th, and he said, I fucking love you, man. I'm like, yeah. I know, I get that. I understand.
I've never played with anyone who's got 5 birdies on the bounce.
It made me sick. It wasn't even 5 birdies. You're selling yourself short. It was like birdie, eagle, birdie, and I was like this. The fuck?
That's disgusting. And actually, for anyone that's listening, Lee, you're looking like quite an enigmatic character. Because firstly, as we just joked, it says Stephanie Lloyd as instead of Lee, which kind of put me off a little bit. And also, I've just seen you sip a beer with like an ice pack jacket on it, which is unbelievable scenes.
Yeah.
You don't play by the rules. I can tell that from just the first 5 minutes, and I respect that hugely.
Moderately cold beer is just not cold enough.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's the quest for the draft like hit. Well, so Lee, basically what the plan is, right, for the show today is that we thought we'd get some various people on and we'd do some of our normal segments on the show. So I guess you don't quite know what we're going to put forward, but I think what would be good is you're our first guest. If we could ease in with some questions from our fans, and then you can kind of react along to them with us, if that works for you.
Sure, yeah, that sounds good.
It'd be interesting to see the responses from a scratch golfer as well. So, right, let's go number
Insight
1.
like we've never seen before.
I know. Okay.
Yeah, just remember that anything I say, I'm not being deliberately insulting to you and your friend. It's just that you might suck, and you have to accept that.
It's not a might. We definitely.
I don't know if you can see the logo here, just underneath my hand. Average golf, even more average chat. So apparently we do suck, actually.
We definitely do. Okay. So number 1, we got from DT_training and nutrition. Would you rather play a round of golf using just one arm and both your legs, or play a round with just one leg but both arms?
Well, you can definitely hit balls off one leg, and having one arm sucks. I mean, no, you can't do that.
You speak from experience.
I mean, one arm has got to be just about the worst thing.
But hang on, I'm just going to look at it from another point of view. Have you ever tried to hop round 6 miles? I reckon that would be the most painful thing.
Well, this guy didn't include any caveats about no buggies. I'm taking a buggy if I've got one leg.
Yeah, that's very fair.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So basically, you're going to go with you want to have one leg, 2 arms.
Yeah, try and hit a ball with one hand. It's just it's shit.
Yeah,
I reckon
it's a hell of a question.
I can't imagine hitting off 1 foot.
I've had 5 knee operations and all on the same knee. So when before and after surgeries, I've sometimes just hit balls on 1 foot just because I'm desperate to hit a ball. Yeah. So I can only stand on my left leg, and it's not that bad. It's okay.
Well, like normally
let's amputate it then. Let's get rid of it.
You'd still fucking lose. Who cares?
I know. Yeah, it's a fair point.
I feel like I was going to react, but now it seems like you genuinely are the best placed person to answer this question, having got 5 birdies on 1 leg when you're playing with Sam. So, yeah.
We were unofficially legless the night before as well.
Yeah.
Sounds unusual for Sam. He normally dodges his round whenever he can.
Yeah. I think someone else is picking up the tab.
It's always good to get these things verified by another source.
And by think, I mean they definitely were, and I enjoyed it too.
Yeah. Very good.
Okay.
Come on, then, OP. Next one. I love that.
Next one we've got.
Strong start.
ACC Miller. What is the best golf shot you have ever seen?
Ooh, that is a good question.
Wow.
It's a tough one, though, isn't it? I mean, not great coming out of us, lads.
The best golf shot. I mean, does it have to be one that I've seen in person, or am I just going through my favorite Tiger Woods shots and picking that one?
We'll go in person, I think.
I think in person.
I was lucky enough to be. This wasn't a shot on a golf course. It was in part of a clinic. I was at a clinic with Steve Elkington over in Houston, and he threw a ball in a bunker, lightly stood on it, and then hit a driver out the bunker.
What?
And he absolutely flushed it. I mean, this was at the end of the clinic, and someone said, and he asked the group, "Has anyone got a challenge for me?" And they're like, "Yeah, you've been hitting this 4-iron at the bunker, and that's a piece of piss for you. You're ace. Hit your driver." It's like, okay. And he set up to hit it, And he was like, should I get this tree on the left or that tree on the right? And then we're like, yeah, whatever, mate. The one on the right. And then he set up, started to take it back, stopped, went, this is too easy. Then he stood on the ball. Then he hit it on the tree he claimed he would hit it on. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
That sounds
with one leg.
Possible.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, we're talking about like a very light little pat. It wasn't like he stood on it and buried it. It was just slightly sunk.
I'd like to say that I mean, that is pretty ridiculous. One of my favourite, not necessarily the best, was when me and fellow Lazy Lobber SJ were playing against Steve. I'm not going to say his surname, but one of the board of managements we had been in trouble with about a few weeks beforehand. And I can't remember if we were 3 or 4 down, something. And it basically got completely reinvigorated by your bunker shot on the 8th that was sort of front edge of green, pin was back of the green. You didn't really have much. You were sort of worrying about thinning it over the top, duffing it into the lip, and you just creamed it over the top of the flag, backspin straight into the hole, and it was just there. From then on, we then ended up going on to win. So I think that was actually like the kickstart of where we ended up going through.
I think that the crack there was that, like, it was Greensums, and they were not in the best spot actually. And I said to Ollie, I was like, I actually said the exact words of, I'm just going to try and hit it on the green. Like, I was like, just do not blade out the bunker straight into the lost ball area out the back. And I was like, yeah, I'll just try and just ease it on there, mate, and accidentally like backspin
it was great. It's probably one of my favourites.
Oh, thanks. That's very kind.
Can mine be one of my own shots?
It can be.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It was always going to be, to be honest with you.
It was going to be.
You play around the golf with Sam, and then you talk about what happened that day, and it's just a 10-minute conversation of, did you see that shot I hit the 7th? Did you really see it? Were you really paying attention?
We were worried that was just us, actually.
We normally get a glazed expression post round with SL. He has his first sip of Guinness, and you don't get a word out of him for 10 minutes.
That is true, right, voice. You've got such terrible rubbish chat. One of my favourite shots I've ever hit was I flushed an 8-iron one time. It's like a very simple shot, but it was 160 yards, and it.
Are you about to start the most boring story ever?
I'm not even going to say. Actually, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve it.
No, go on, mate.
No.
Oh,
you're left wanting. You're left wanting.
SJ, put yours on while he's sulking.
So mine was Ryder Cup at Glen Eagles. I saw Rory McIlroy sink. Do you know what? I honestly couldn't even tell how many foot it was. Like more than 30, less than 100. Part on the 15th. On the 15th to win the hole and halve the match with like crowd in the stand behind the tee, all around the green. And to be honest, the reason I'm not sure on the distance totally is because I was actually only halfway down the par 3, but I just saw it enough for him to be miles away from the hole and just like take this putt. And it's one of those where you think, well, I would certainly think if I could 2-putt this, that would be absolutely fantastic. And he just steps up, rolls it in, and everyone just went absolutely bananas afterwards. So yeah, just massive clutch putt.
I've actually just thought of the shot, and it wasn't the shot I was going to tell you before. Yeah, I'm sulk over. It was actually, it was where we usually play in Glen Eagles.
Where was that, Sam? Where do we know?
I know. I feel like it's pretty shit, but one of the best shots I've ever hit was with Lee Patessi's girlfriend's brother, a really good friend of mine as well, Nick. And it was more what he said that made the shot. It was a 3-wood, about 240 out over water, and I flushed it as per, and and it landed with about 6 foot of the green. And Nick turned to me and he went, "Christ, you'd be wanking over that tonight." And it was just like, it's just such a good memory. And then
it's actually quite a good Nick impression, Sam.
Yeah, I've said that story about 100 times.
So your 2 favourite shots you've ever seen are your own shots.
Yeah, and I've been to the Ryder Cup and watched Rory. So,
right, okay, let's get one more in, shall we? What are your thoughts on a response to nearly getting hit by a golf ball? So I'm assuming this is sort of whether someone hasn't shouted or because, I mean, if someone shouts 4 and you nearly get hit by a golf ball, there's not much more you can do about it. But what do we
really
think?
niche question. Who is this person?
ACC Miller.
Right,
Other
we do
ones-
get more questions. We get more questions than that.
The problem is with the other ones, they're actually aimed towards us 3 rather than sort of a general discussion, which is then difficult to choose from. So, yeah. Just
I
thought-
think
Lee,
there's
you
three
take this one.
Yeah, there's maybe 3 types of response to almost being hit by a ball. One is incandescent rage because there was no shout, which is, I mean, you just want to hit the guy in the face multiple times. The other one is that you don't hear the shout, but he did shout and the wind stopped it. Someone said something, you didn't hear it, fine. So you're instantly angry, but then you kind of let it go, but you still resent him. The third one is you hear it, he almost hits you, you wave, you move on. There's no response. But the first 2, both incandescent rage. Just can't be angrier, but it's irrational. You can't be annoyed with someone almost hitting you with a golf ball. He didn't actually hit you.
I've got to say, that's the most measured and structured 30 seconds of adage that's ever been had on these podcasts. I really salute you for that. I think it's hard to argue with that, isn't it?
I must say,
Totally.
I've definitely, once someone's got angry at me, said that I shouted when I didn't shout and blamed it on the wind. So that's I'm putting my hands up to that.
I guess ultimately around here, you play on a golf course, so like there is immediate rage for sure, but then you've got to realise that there's golf balls flying around.
I think
Amazing.
there's like a subcategory 4th element, which is when someone's hit a shot too early off the tee and almost hit you. That's totally different.
We've spoken about that before. Wankers, every single one.
Oh yeah, and that's rage that never subsides. That's rage that's going to
is-
last until you break an element of that person's body.
I think there is an element as well that that whole thing of like, do you wait for ages for someone to clear like the green if you're going for it in 2 and a par 5, and then you're like, I look like a real dick if I shank this, but then you actually flush it straight out the middle, and you're like, sorry. So Lee, that summarizes the questions. Thank you so much for being our first guest of the episode, and thanks for your answers. Great to meet you. Great to know that Sam's full of shit when he plays with you guys as well, and had to. And yeah, thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Lee.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining me. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate
Cheers,
it.
bye. And yeah, once again, massive thank you to Lee for coming on the podcast. I think always a bit intimidating to come onto a podcast with people that you don't always know. So thanks a lot, Lee.
I did love the confidence though, purely of like, I used to be good, but now I'm off scratch. That's
a hell of a line.
So we are just moving into our next segment of the famous Kevin Na or Kevin Yar, waiting for
Who's our guest for this one?
So we have Ollie Sanderson, otherwise known as OS, who is a big number 1 self-declared number 1 fan of the show. So he's been looking forward to this moment since we started it. So he is just ready to join now. There he is.
Who let this kid in?
There he is.
Here we go with a haircut. Isle of what's your name and where'd you come from?
Isle of, my name's Ollie. I'm 26 and I'm from London.
Excellent. Well done.
Oh, lads, it feels so great to see your faces all together. It's just a shame that we're not on the bloody links yet.
Soon, very soon.
I know.
Well, look, so for everyone listening along, this is I've been kind of waiting for this moment. It's inevitable, but yeah. So this is a trip into the history of the Lazy Lobbers as to why we have to ultimately use our initials. That wouldn't be my default approach to things, but for everyone that listens along, you know we've got Sam Jackson and Sam Levy. So 2 Sams is confusing enough, and 2 Sams and an Ollie is fine. But when we play with other Ollie, 2 Sams and 2 Ollies is absolute carnage. So all things revert to initials. So SL, OP, SJ, and OS all in the mix. And I'd say, lads, we've had a fair few good games of Sams versus Ollies, haven't we?
We have.
Yeah. And that's actually how we have to do it, don't we? We have to do
Yeah.
it Sam's Ollies. Otherwise, it just gets this chaos.
Yeah.
And I say that the Sams have got quite a kind of quite a passionate partnership. So it's either hat or it's nat, and there's not a lot in between.
Recently, the SJ of the Sams has just been my white whale. I just can't catch the bloke. It's just horrendous.
Ollie OP actually messaged me earlier and was saying that it's been so long since we've played. All bets are off basically when we go back. I mean, it could be in any sort of state of golf.
I've been scouring the internet for golf mobility exercises, try and limber back up. So I know when we get back, it's gonna be balls going flying left and right. I'm gonna be adding to SL's badger hole collection.
Yeah,
like every single round we play, he's gonna find so many pitch balls in there.
It's inevitable.
It's actually. I was messaged the boys earlier. I was like, it's actually been so long that I wasn't any good when we were playing every single week for the last year, and then now we've had 3-4 months off, and it's just gonna be a bit different gravy.
It's gonna be tough. But I'm looking forward to getting back to the Shire and playing Lazy Lobbers, but also having the Lazy Lobbers down for an away day.
Yes.
Shout out Burhill Golf Club.
Yeah.
If I'm allowed to do that.
Sign us up.
Yeah, it's exciting to be here, boys. Can I just say this is like I've reached my absolute peak of Lazy Lobbers fandom. Like, listen every week so keenly, and now I'm here. It's like I think back to the question of would you rather play Augusta or 9 holes of Tiger Woods, and it is option C, get on the pod.
Yeah.
And I'm here.
Oh, mate, you're too kind. Good. Honestly, the support is so hugely appreciated.
Yeah, agreed.
And I think it was only fitting that. Well, I should explain. We've been kind of doing a section with a few different people on the pod, and it felt only fitting that we rolled into Kevin Yar with your good self. So OP normally drums up the questions, so just dive on in. We're really keen to hear your thoughts on some of these.
Okay, so we'll move into Kevin Nar or Kevin Yar. So I've got a bit of a mix of questions from myself and SJ this week.
Kevin Yar.
Yeah, I was going to say you can sing another theme tune if you want.
Who's going to sing it? Ollie, do you want to sing it this week?
Fan of Kevin.
Kevin, yeah.
That's a good one. Right, okay. So this is actually stemmed from yesterday, but what do you think about heckling in pro golf from the crowd?
I saw this yesterday.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting on that. I think. All right, let's just caveat the question first of all by saying Ryder Cup, all bets are off.
Agreed.
Right, Ryder Cup to a lesser extent because no one really cares. President's Cup, Ryder Cup, all bets are off. You can say whatever you want. Like that is absolutely fair game. At individual professional tournaments, I lean a bit more to kind of like a Kevin Na. Yeah. Again, caveat unless it's Bryson DeChambeau because. How am I allowed to do any swearing, or am I?
Can we use his correct name though? Bryson DeChambeau, please.
Bryson DeChambeau is just the most colossal cop. Like I just been watching the Arnie Palmy downstairs, and like watching him just absolutely spray balls everywhere, no matter how far they go, is just my favourite thing at the moment. Like I don't know if I know you guys have been doing the pods, you haven't seen, but he hit probably the best drive I've seen a professional golfer hit in a number of tournaments, and then just flumped his chip into the bank and it rolled back down. And it just brings me immense
we all know
joy
that.
to see that guy. We all know
that, don't we?
You've got one hell of a setup, haven't you, OS, at your flat with the housemates?
Oh yeah, it's a shame. I've taken the call upstairs, but otherwise I'd give you a quick glimpse. We've got the old putting mat. We had a bit of a chipping studio going on in the first lockdown as well.
In-house, a chipping studio.
In-house, yeah. In-house.
So
we
SJ,
respect that hugely.
To put context, did you see the Billy Horschel comment on social media? That's where it came from.
I actually haven't. I'm a bit embarrassed to admit that.
I'll put it in context. So basically,
SJ, I'm with you, Matt. I don't think I've seen this either.
So this is literally happened yesterday. So Billy Horschel hit a putt and it just classic died off to the right. And obviously there's not very many spectators. So someone just shouted like "bad read, Billy" or something like that. And he then tapped in for par. He turns round and honestly, like deadpan serious, goes, there's a reason you're on that side of the rope because my talent is way better than you, or something like that. Or my talent is just a little bit better than you. Like,
I mean, all right,
I've got a couple
for sure. Reactions.
Yeah.
Right. So first of all, if you're okay, I guess this feeds into my overall take on Kevin Yar and heckling. If you're going to heckle, it is a Kevin Yar if you say something funny. Like if you got absolute cracker, like I don't know if you guys ever saw it, but someone heckled Daniel Berger once a couple of years ago. I went, "Gotta need a little bit more ketchup on that burger." That is perfect heckling, all right? That is A1 steak sauce heckling. That is absolutely Kevin Yar. But if you go, "Bad read, Billy," that is a massive Kevin Yar.
Yeah.
That is such a noisy crap comment. So I guess this is a bit of a scaled caveat to Kevin Yar because it really depends on if you're remotely witty or not. You know? So I think if it's good heckle, it's in good fun, then go for it. But if it's
you got to take your gut.
Rude,
You got to take your gut. You can't.
I think
we're
all pretty much on the same wave.
I think we'll go Kevin Yar because in my head heckling is funny, so I'm going to go Kevin Yar and funny heckling.
What was the?
I'm going to say heckling Patrick Reed, Kevin Yar. heckling at the Ryder Cups, also agreed. And the Solheim Cup, also Kevin Yar. Otherwise, Kevin Yar. Have you seen the clip when the guy heckles at the Ryder Cup? I think it's one of the practice rounds, and then they're like, "Right, come on then, on you come," and they get him on the green. And then they give him the putt, and they're like, "I'll give you $100 if you sink the putt," and he just cans it. Yeah. But he hits it so hard, I can't believe it. The hole holds it. He's like, he's going to.
I think isn't it Justin Rose?
They were like, "Oh, that's annoying."
Right, we'll go for our next bit. This is from SJ himself. What do you think about asking people to move their shadow when you're putting? It's a good one. It is a good one. I did enjoy it.
It's a good one. I mean, I guess thinking about what I do around the greens and what I'd probably be fine with is I just stay very still when people are putting. Like especially if you know your shadow's there, right? And if you're having a little wiggle around or scratching your nose or something, you're aware. So
I'm not often.
I was going to say for me, a shadow is not affecting my putt. So for no point of asking someone, but if someone asked me to move, I can understand that. But for me, I'm not bothered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a Kevin Yar. I think as long as you're playing with people with half a brain that are like aware of roughly where their body is, some form of spatial awareness.
If someone asks me to move my shadow, you can tell straight away they're quite mentally weak.
So my take on this actually on the Kevin Yar is that if I'm trying to sink a putt, ambitious enough in its own right, if someone's shadow were to be over my putting line, I would kind of struggle to get the break. If you got a putt in from like sunlight into shade back in sunlight, I'd definitely read the line wrong. And I also would finally concur with what Ollie said, that if I was taking a putt and someone's like shadow moved, it would probably catch my eye and I would also hit an even worse putt than normal. So I actually am going to say Kevin Yar. Please, can you
I knew you were going to say that because you always ask me to move. I'm always like my shadow is always over your line.
Who's currently a Lazy Lobbers putting champion? Because I feel like that's the ultimate viewpoint, isn't it?
Ollie won the competition.
I think Also, OP got the casting vote.
Okay, so what if we take away the putting element of it? So if you're standing over a drive, so it's nothing to do with line or whatever, and you've got someone's shadow sort of creeping around your ball, are you bothered?
Not if I'm driving. For me, actually.
I mean, I'd probably just be like, "Can you stand still?" I don't know if I'd be like, "Can you move over there, please?"
SL,
I agree.
For the driving over the shadow.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the way you say it. Like, if you're standing over your drive and then you look up and go, "Would you mind?" Okay, I might probably think you're a bit of a dick. But if it's like, if I look down and be like, "Come on, mate, look at you," it almost, the harder you go, the funnier it is. So I'm kind of like, I'm happy for both. I just think it's the way you say it.
I don't think we've actually agreed on. We've not reached a definitive conclusion on any Kevin Yar yet. We're like, could be just
It's just a continuum. Kevin Yar is now a continuum. It's just a continuum.
Depends which side of the argument you're coming from.
Yeah, agree. But it's just discussion points, isn't it? Shall we hit the last one up then?
No, I want a definitive answer.
Okay, so
Kevin
asking people to move their shadow for me is a Kevin Nar.
I'm also Kevin Nar. Oh, we got a bit of a team Ollie, team Sam situation going on again.
Yeah, fair enough. Good to get these things ironed out though.
Okay,
and
right. Last one we got.
Sure move your shadows next time.
Cleaning the grooves of your wedges before every single shot.
You do this.
That? Oh, you
Ollie
are.
Petridis is so culpable of this.
So this is a funny thing. So this is where the background comes from. I never ever thought that like cleaning anything would make any sort of difference, and I still actually, from me as an average golfer, don't think it doesn't make any difference. But when I look down and just see the grooves just absolutely covered in mud, I can't help but just give it a
yeah.
And I know SL's quite.
What I do is if I'm struggling for a bit of yardage, I'll leave the mud in the grooves to just really flatten the club face. Make sure I reduce my spin on the ball flight. If I'm trying to zip it,
the hosel doesn't have any grooves on.
So Ollie, as if you read our website www.lazylobbers.com, we've got a few blogs on there. If you see our blog, top things you can buy from Amazon, one of them is the multi-tool club cleaner, which Ollie has, and diligently uses every bristle before every wedge shot. So he first of all gets his towel, wipes it, then he spits on it, then he uses the metal bristles, then he gets the pointy groove cleaner, does every groove, then he gets the reverse side, which is just the standard plastic bristles, and then he pulls out a cloth and he quickly wipes it, and then eventually he gets his duster out and finishes it off.
And by this time, SL's just got his rangefinder out of his suede holder, so I've just about managed to catch up with him. Me and SL are both. What are you lads? Going?
I'll be honest. I'll say Kevin Yar, because you're right. When you've got the fresh grooves, it does set you in the right mind.
Kevin, I don't. Who's Kevin Nar? Yeah, Kevin Yar. All day.
Yeah. OS, what you thought?
I'm absolutely Kevin Yar.
Kevin Yar. Wow, we've actually agreed on something. That is the end of Kevin Yar for this week.
Another cracker. We'll put the questions onto the Instagram. We'll see where the fans come this week. Actually, in reflection again, I think that we mostly fell the wrong side of it. We're kind of like
that Fivewood thing fucked me off.
Weirdly,
I'm not gonna lie. Who's Ben Adams? It's
a Aussie rugby lad. I actually thought last week was going to be like one of those ones that I couldn't think of that many controversial things. It ended up all of them like nearly 50-50, which is quite interesting.
Ollie, mate, thank you so much for coming on. It's been far too long. I'm sure you'll feature again in the future. So thanks for coming, Ollie.
Lovely to see it start. It's been an absolute pleasure, boys.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you, mate.
Lovely,
mate.
Bye, Ollie.
Bye.
So look, Kirstin, thank you for joining us on the podcast. You have the huge pleasure of being our first ever female guest on the show.
Amazing.
And I think that we should do some introductions, but Sam, you and Kirstin would have worked together, so I'm surprised you don't know one another.
No way. When?
We would have worked together, but I also don't know you, so it's okay.
When? Where? Hollister?
Don't know me either.
Yeah. I've got to say actually, just to get things underway. So for those watching along on YouTube, you'll notice that Kirstin is also rocking a fairly professional microphone setup. And for those listening, you can probably hear the audio quality. So Kirstin is actually co-host of the second best podcast you can find on Apple Podcasts, Conversations to Die For. So pro podcast. So I feel like, Kirstin, given that you've given us your time and energy to come on the show, you should tell us a little bit about Conversations to Die For.
Oh, thanks so much. It is a podcast that I co-host with my friend Sky, and it's a podcast where we just chat a lot of shit about different topics each week. So we talk about true crime, we talk about conspiracy theories, we talk about popular culture, all things.
That's good. I was going to say, cool. We've now got to nearly to the end of season 1, and I kind of wish we actually had more topics to talk about, because it's getting to the stage when it's like, right, golf is getting to the end of what 9 episodes, whereas you've got a lot of topics, which is quite cool.
So can we fill 10 hours about golf when golf courses are shut? Yes, we can. We will find some nonsense to talk about. However, you've really downplayed that, Kirstin, because I've listened to them, and there's actually a hell of a lot of research and knowledge in there. So I'd say we actually genuinely do chat a little bit of rubbish about golf, but yours are very kind of informative and good critical analysis and stuff. They're really, really good listens. So the thing actually, for everyone else listening along, that Kirstin, I kind of have like Instagram page envy of you and Sky, and I'm always sending Sam and Ollie like your little like stories and your cool little posts. I'm like, we should do these, and then I can't actually do them myself, so we never quite get there. But yeah, I'm a bit of a fanboy.
Why can't you do them?
Just haven't been able to achieve that
Inept.
yet. We did one.
Inept. Yeah.
Inept. So we did one about John Daly. But yeah, we're just not quite there.
Could you not tell we couldn't even get 4 of us on Zoom? I mean, we're about 2 hours deep into this podcast, and we're still struggling.
Yeah, the fact I said, Kirstin, can you come on at 8? And it's now 9:45, and we've just started. So, Kirstin, please, can you answer this following question? Hiya, love. What's your name and where did you come from?
My name's Kirstin, and I'm from Sydney. I usually do it a lot better. I think that was the worst time I've ever done it. Ask Alice if I can do it.
Was that
just dog shit.
Was that Geordie? Geordie?
Okay, I may have lost my Australian accent, but I think I can redeem myself because I actually have got some props ready that are related to your show.
Props.
Amazing.
Did you
So
say?
Look at this.
firstly, I've got my own hat.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thought I'd wear it.
Well
And
done.
then also, now look, I listen to a podcast. I don't understand golf, so these might not be the right props, but I've tried. So I've bought one of these with me.
What is that? Describe what you're holding to the fans.
Is this right?
Would you put that on? Would you put that on?
What you call? Is this the thing that some of you don't like and some of you do like?
No. Well, do you know what?
It's close.
That's not far off.
Can someone describe what this is? Because I don't know what it's called. It's like a little protector.
So that's a head cover. That's a head cover.
Oh wait,
but
so
there's a subtle difference, right? So there's a few clubs in the bag which it's socially acceptable to have that on. The larger ones that have a kind of bigger surface area for a head. I was trying to avoid saying bulbous head. The thin ones that are known as irons, that they're not acceptable to have an equivalent item for.
Interesting. Okay. Well, look, the last thing I've bought with me, and I actually was more confident with this one, but I fucked that up. So also, sorry if I'm not allowed to swear on your podcast. My mum tells me
Honestly, I don't know why people think.
Sorry, can we just rewind on that? Did you say your mum tells you off if you swear on your podcast?
Yeah.
So I've been keeping this to myself. Sam's going to have an absolute hissy fit when he hears this. My dad actually emailed. He sent an official complaints email to sj@lazylobbers.com and said, just a bit of listener feedback. I think you should remove all swearing as it's unprofessional. So it's good to know that my dad and your mum are on a similar wavelength of like, they just want the uncensored version.
I'm 8 gins in.
I just am shocked that anyone thinks that these podcasts should be professional. No offense, guys. Like that's where I think I'm like.
That's why we set this up. It's the most unprofessional podcast you can find.
What's your final prop then? Come on.
My final prop, and I don't know if I've got this right. Okay.
Yeah.
But I listened to the podcast the other day where you had George Fairbank on, and you were moaning about 3 irons. Is this a 3 iron? Is that what this is? What is this?
This is brilliant.
We're going to edit all the other guests off. This is world class. So for everyone listening at home, Kirstin has produced the most Lazy Lobber-esque club I think I've ever seen. It's a Dunlop 3 wood. What's it saying? Just hold it still. Solution Plus.
That's straight out of Sports Direct, isn't it?
To be fair, so you got the number right, just slightly the wrong club. But
Well, do you know what? there was loads of these so George has got like 2 set of golf clubs, one which I believe is better than the other. I think this one was from the back of the cupboard that he doesn't really use. And I thought there's loads of these big head ones, so maybe you guys don't like these because there's loads of them.
I can't wait to stand on the tee and go, I'm going to use the number 3 big head.
I'm going to use
do it.
I'm going to use the solution plus is the thing I need to get me out of this situation.
Really tickled.
Kirstin, fully applaud your
Very
effort
well
and
done.
energy there, and we really appreciate it. Well, look, I think we might have to get you guys back on, given the trajectory we're going with this. But what I think I would like to do is I'd like to play a game with you, Kirstin, and I'd also like to nominate Sam to play against you in this.
What is
and you may have heard this on other podcasts, Kirstin. This game is called Wrong Club Only. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a series of questions, and what I need from you is the wrong answer only to that question. Now, the way we do this is there's 9 questions. There's 9 questions to represent the different holes. I'll ask you 9 consecutively, and if you take too long to answer, you will not get the point. And if you answer correctly, you will also not get the point. And Ollie, to put you on the spot, could you maybe be scorekeeper? Do you think you could do that for us? That's very kind. So what we'll do is we'll say, ladies first.
I have a question. Firstly, I thought this is what you were going to ask me to come on to do, and I try and play along at home, and I'm not very good at it. Secondly, I have really bad internet, so if I take too long to answer, I'm going to blame the internet.
Okay.
And I won't accept anything less than that. Okay, so we have 2 internets in this household.
Oh,
George is currently, well, you would think neither of them work very well, so we're not. George is currently using the better internet to play COD.
So firstly, thank you for coming on the show, lining up loads of probs, but then only giving us the backup internet while George is on the good internet. But hey, never mind.
Honestly, I wouldn't worry about it. It's not even it's not that good. Like, don't.
Okay.
Well,
what we'll do is
I'm not going to shout about it.
We'll do ladies first, as in we'll offer you, Kirstin. Would you like to go first, or would you like to go second?
I'd like to go first because I know that Sam also would like to go first.
Would you like the front wine or the back wine?
The front, please.
Okay, right. Okay, you ready? Kirstin, question number 1. What device do you use to record the audio on a podcast?
Camera.
Yeah. How many golf majors are there in a calendar year?
64.
Name a professional golfer.
Sam Jackson.
Spell golfer.
Jodru.
If I were to make it up and down from a bunker, that would be known as what?
Getting up.
If par is 72 and I shoot 2 under par, what do I shoot?
63.
Give me 2 words that rhyme with hole.
Caterpillar and frog.
It's so gentle.
I've seen it all now. What do you call a putt that is so close to the hole you don't need to putt it in?
A good time.
What is the name of your podcast host? Co-host, I should say.
Melonhead.
Excellent. Ollie, honestly, how many do we give Kirstin for that?
I got 8 there.
Can I come on your podcast?
Look, you can come on our podcast if you have a really interesting crime-related story that you can tell us. So
he's got a really interesting story about the best ever 8-iron he hit. Will that count?
Well, I never knew my parents nor my sister because they went missing when I was 5, but I guess that's not that interesting.
That doesn't sound like it's the sort of story we care about.
I didn't think so.
My God, I hope that's not true.
Yeah, we all followed that through massively with loads of laughs and gags, and you held a straight face. Mate, you getting left in McDonald's soft play doesn't count as a true murder documentary.
That's where I've been since I was 5.
Sam, are you ready for your questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Let's go.
Spell putting.
Wanker.
Fair enough. Name something you'd buy at the halfway hut.
The sausage. Oh, fuck's sake. Forget it.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Just name me just 2 of your favourite golf brands.
Ann Summers and Debenhams.
In total, how many holes would you find on a golf course?
69.
What colour is grass?
Purple.
How many golf clubs are you allowed in your bag at any one time?
Eyeballs.
What is the name of the item you use to repair a ball mark on a green?
I don't know.
What should you shout if you hit a wayward shot?
Do you know what? I've had so much to drink tonight. I can't even contemplate any answer. Not even the wrong answer. I can't even. Not even the right answer. I can't contemplate an answer. Carry on.
You've got one more question. Name just one of the teams that competes in the Ryder Cup.
Fish.
Ollie, how many?
5.
Kirstin, you're this week's winner of Wrong Club Only.
I need to do that at the start.
Yay.
Well, look, Kirstin,
that was very enjoyable.
Well done. Well done for coming on.
Fun.
Well done for winning.
Yeah.
What have you thought about your time on the Lazy Lobbers podcast?
Hey, I've had the best time. The only stressful thing is my internet. I'm sorry. It's not that we're cheap. It's that Birmingham is cheap and won't pay for better internet. But it's been really fun. I've had the best time. So thanks so much for having me on. It's really nice to not talk about murders.
You're more than welcome. And look, we look forward to hearing more about your podcast. We look forward to hearing about season 7, episode 39, when Sam Levy got left at McDonald's soft play. And we
that
wish
when
you
I
the
get
best.
featured that far, there's that many good stories ahead of Sam Levy.
We've got so many.
Well, look, from one
so
podcaster
much
to another.
for having me, guys.
No, thank you so much, and well done for being the first ever female guest on Confessions of an Average Golfer by the Lazy Lobbers. And that brings us to the end of season 1, episode 8, take 1. Thanks all for listening.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.